All right, so Olympia passed a new income tax. Businesses are walking out the door, and we're all supposed to clap and pretend it's fine. It's not. If you're sitting there watching companies you grew up with and they're announcing they're leaving, you're watching your neighbors get laid off and getting told by people in suits that everything's great. Yay. You're not crazy. You're paying attention. All right, I'm Leanne Hall. I sell real estate across Western Washington, Gig Harbor, Port Orchard, Tacoma, Seattle. And I am so done with this spin. Let's go through this. What the tax actually does, who already has left, and what it's costing the regular people Olympia keeps forgetting about. And what do we do now? Let's go. All right, let's talk about the tax itself because the spin around this has been wild for what I'm seeing online. 9.9% income tax. Officially, it hits individuals earning over $1 million a year. It doesn't kick in until 2028. And here's the funny part. It's already going to head to the state Supreme Court because guess what? Plenty of people think it's flat out unconstitutional. I, for one, am one of those. The official line people are saying is, relax, it's just on millionaires. Cool, except that's not where it stops. So anybody who's actually paid attention for the last 10 minutes knows that's not where it's ending. For decades, the people running this state swore up and down we would never have a state income tax. That was completely off the table. Washington was going to be a no income tax state. That was the deal. Well, that was part of why people decided to move here. They put their businesses here, they started a retirement here, and now guess what? Surprise, here it is. On millionaires? Well, for now. And here's where it actually starts hitting people who are not millionaires. And almost nobody in Olympia wants to talk about this part. All right, so in this state, there's a huge chunk of small businesses that are what's called a pass-through entity. So that means that the business income shows up on the owner's personal tax return. I, for one, had a business here, fitness facility for almost 30 years. I was one of those. So if you've got a local construction company, maybe a medical practice, a family run business that has cleared a million on paper, well, guess what? Congratulations, you're a millionaire now. Even if you're not taking home that money, you're now what's considered a millionaire. Working person, honestly, that's not a tax on yachts. That's a tax on the people that are running the businesses that employ your neighbors, the plumber, the dentist, the contractor, the orthodontist whose kid plays on your kid's soccer team. Those are the millionaires. So real cute, right? These people are hardworking people. And now guess what? You're going to get screwed because of it. And here's the kicker. Washington already ranked 45th in the country on the Tax Foundation's Business Tax Climate Index. 45th out of 50. So before this thing, we weren't even close to a business-friendly state when they decided to pile this on top of it. Then they passed this new tax and acted shocked when businesses started looking at this and saying, we're exiting. Truly an unsolvable mystery to them. All right, so Olympia, I love it. It's cute. They keep telling everyone on the news, nobody's leaving. Well, guess what? The data's telling us a different story. All right, let's talk local. So Renton Soak and Sage, it's a local spa brand. Guess what? It's hauling nearly 100 jobs to Nashville. So the founder didn't tap dance around it. She said straight up, Washington taxes are why we're leaving. And it's not just one company. The Association of Washington Business, these are the people who track this stuff for a living. They say 1 out of every 4 employers are now actively weighing a move out of the state. That number has nearly tripled in the last 16 months. What does that tell you? So 1 in 4, the president of that group literally called it a 911 emergency for the state economy. But sure, nothing's happening. Everything's fine, right? 17% of those surveyed businesses say other states are cold calling them. Recruiters, economic development people from Texas, Tennessee, Florida, they're picking up the phone and pitching them. while Olympia is over here writing more press releases that everything's okay. Watch what happens to the people who built these companies because the founders don't put this part on the news. And here's the part that should make you actually mad because when these companies move, not everyone gets to go with them. All right, so they're asking who? Let's talk. Starbucks. That is a Seattle company, right? We all know it. It's on every frickin' corner. It started here in 1971. It's a complete Seattle thing. Well, guess what? They just announced a brand new corporate hub, and guess where they're going? Nashville. About $100 million in investment. There's around 2,000 jobs over 5 years. Some of those teams are moving straight out of Seattle. Tennessee is making this really easy for you to want to go. Guess what they have? No state income tax. They're business friendly. Well, that works. And it works more so for a business on a spreadsheet. It's a no-brainer for executives, and trust me, as a past business owner, I completely get it. Here's what the spreadsheet is leaving out. A Starbucks corporate employee, let's say they've been there for 21 years at the company. Well, guess what? They just got laid off as part of this new Nashville reorganization. 21 years. And he hasn't even been offered a chance to move. His role was completely eliminated due to, guess what? Restructuring. So that was their whole goodbye. So as much as I get pissed at the state for doing this, I also get really pissed at these companies. Think about it. 21 years of his life, and they didn't even hand him a plane ticket to follow his job. That's a Washington family, right? You got a kid in school, you have a mortgage, you've had this your whole life, and then guess what? You get a goodbye email. Now, here's where I'm going to be honest with you because I'm not in the business of carrying water for anybody. Some of these corporate moves, well, the tax is the excuse, right? But cold business decisions get dressed up by what Olympia made us do. And meanwhile, the founder pockets the savings, and guess what? They start laying off all these employees. So both are a little bit where you have reason to be upset. This is what matters. The tax handed every single one of them the perfect excuse. If Olympia hadn't built this environment, guess what? The cover story doesn't work. So who's actually responsible? I'm going to say both of them. The corporations using it as a cover, and then the politicians who lit that little match. So I'm going to say both of you. And then there's Amazon, right? 2,300 Washington employees have been cut. Almost 1,900 of them are right here in the Seattle office. That's on top of roughly like 16,000 corporate roles globally axed in January. Their second giant round is just a few months away. Every one of those is a Washington family, right? They have a mortgage. They have a kid in school in Gig Harbor. They have a retirement plan that just got rewritten. And the headlines are still all about the rich guys feeling this. Nobody's writing about the 38-year-old who had to relocate their whole freaking life here for a job that just got restructured into a goodbye email. All right, think fast. If any of you are thinking about relocating up here, I've put together a relocation guide. There's no spin. It's just a breakdown of what the taxes are going to actually mean to you. Real costs, living here, neighborhoods, what this is going to look like for you. I'm not trying to get you not to move here. I just like to be honest and real before you get here and all of a sudden you're realizing, why didn't somebody tell me about this? Let's talk about where these companies and these people are actually going, because the map tells you exactly what Washington just bet against. The top 3 destinations for people leaving Washington are going to, ding, 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 Idaho. They're actually going to Oregon and Texas. And the no income tax states like Texas, Florida, Nevada, Tennessee, they're not sitting back hoping. They're aggressively recruiting our people. All right, these states have entire teams whose only job is to call Washington businesses and pitch them. No income tax, no capital gains. And guess what? You have lower regulations on things. So the welcome basket's on their porch. Olympia handed this over to them. So the pitch is real. Idaho's the interesting one. It's not a zero tax, but it's a flat 5.3 income tax. half of what Washington's new top rate would be, but it's right next door. Similar outdoorsy lifestyle, lower cost of living, conservative state government. So, for a lot of Washington folks who feel politically homeless here, Idaho is going to be the close, easy answer. Now, I'll give you the full picture because I'm not here to lie to you. Washington is also still gaining some people. So, mostly from California, because actually they probably have it worse, and Oregon. Because as bad as our taxes just got, California and parts of Oregon got there first, and they got that worse than us. So that's the picture. People who can leave for greener pastures are, people escaping somewhere even worse are actually coming here. Net effect, we're trading high-earning, business-building people for cost of living refugees. This is not a winning trade for a state. Okay, let's bring this back to the people actually watching this video, because most of you are not running corporations. You're just trying to figure out what makes sense. Should you stay? Should you buy? Are you selling? Are you getting the heck out of here? Here's the data. Most people leaving high tax states make under about $200,000. So affordability, housing, childcare, utilities, gas, groceries drives relocation way more than any specific tax line. So let me translate this. The millionaire tax is really the headline. The cost of regular life is the actual reason. People are not leaving because of just this one tax. They're leaving because every single line on that family budget keeps going up, and Olympia keeps acting like that's somebody else's problem. And let me be honest, Western Washington isn't cheap. I'm not going to stand on a dock and tell you it's Boise's prices, because it's not. Cost of living here is real. And here's what's also true. There's an opportunity sitting right in the middle of all of this chaos, and almost nobody's talking about it because the panic here is louder than the math. So Seattle inventory hit 8,630 listings in April, about 88% above normal. What does that mean? Well, more inventory to me means more leverage, especially for you buyers. So when listings stack up and sellers start to get nervous, the prices come down, and that's when we get some deals done. The exact people screaming, everyone's leaving, are accidentally describing the best buyer's market we've had in years. And if you're a seller, well, this cuts the other way. About 88% more competition. Throwing a sign in the yard and hoping is not a strategy. Pricing and positioning right now matter more than it has in a decade. But don't get me started, that's another video. So the question, what do we do? Because complaining is fine, but it really doesn't pay anybody's mortgage. Here's my answer, and I've got 3 things for you. Number 1, stop letting Olympia define what this state is. I have so many people reach out to me. They're so upset. Well, we got to put something into it, right? If we don't feel this way. Washington isn't Seattle. Washington isn't the Capitol building. Washington is the people running businesses in Gig Harbor, Tacoma, the families on the water in Port Orchard, the folks who have been building their place their whole lives. Don't let the loudest voices and the worst policies convince you the whole state has lost its mind, because guess what? We all have it. A lot of us are still here. We're still building, and we're still standing up for what we believe. So if you love it here, and there are real reasons to love it here, trust me, the water is amazing. You've got beautiful trees all around. Our lifestyle is great. The community, don't let that bad policy run you off your land without a good fight. Okay, let me tell you number 2, because number 1, trust me, could get me going for hours. Number 2, make your decision on real numbers, not what you're reading in the headlines or TikTok. If you're thinking about leaving, that's fine. Run the actual math. Income tax savings versus cost of housing in the new state versus property taxes versus what your career looks like versus What is the cost to actually get up and move your whole life? Some people can pencil that out, and Idaho or Texas, trust me, they win. Some people run the numbers, and Western Washington will still win. So don't make the six-figure decision just based on a headline or something your friends are telling you they're going to do. And if you're moving into Western Washington from California or somewhere with even higher taxes, the income tax everyone's screaming about doesn't actually apply to most of you. You need real numbers. You don't want panic headlines to make this move. So that's literally what I'm here to do. All right, number 3. If you are a buyer right now, this is your window. So inventory is up, panic is high. Panic makes sellers motivated. That's not a crisis. That's a damn opportunity, in my opinion, and most people are too busy doom scrolling to walk through the door that's wide open in front of them and be like, hey, this is great. The people who understand the difference between, oh my gosh, the sky is falling and the market is repricing, are the ones who will look like geniuses in 2 years. The rest are going to be in Boise going, wait, why'd we do this? If you want the real no-spin breakdown, what these actually taxes mean for someone who's not a millionaire, the real cost of living numbers, the neighborhoods worth your money, grab my free Washington State relocation guide. There is a link in the description, or you can always reach out to me. I am always willing to jump on a call. I text everyone, email everyone back. All right, as usual, I got to bring this back home because I can talk for hours, literally because I work this exact market every day, and trust me, it can get me going. Most of what you just heard, the corporate moves, the layoffs, the Olympia drama, that's a Seattle story. Big tech, big towers, big headlines, but most of you watching aren't buying a glass condo in downtown Seattle. You're looking over my way. You're looking over maybe in Gig Harbor, Port Orchard, Tacoma, the Kitsap County area. And the dynamics over here are not the same. Not to say that there's not a bunch of millionaires out here, because trust me, there are. And trust me, everybody is very livid. But hey, hold tight. We're not sure really what's going on, so there's no reason to pack up and move out. Over here, you've got waterfront, ferry and bridge access, actual yards, actual square footage for your money that you wouldn't buy at a close location across the water. You've got communities where people actually know their neighbors. That doesn't disappear because Olympia is making a really bad decision. This is what I try to tell people that are really trying to jump ship. I'm like, think about your community and your friends that you've made. This may happen in the next state you decide to go to. So when I say there's still a play here, that's what I mean. The opportunity isn't a theory. It's a specific house in a specific neighborhood at a price that won't sit there forever once people stop panicking and start running real numbers. Bottom line, yeah. The tax is a super bad policy. Yes, businesses are leaving and Olympia keeps pretending they're not. Regular people are paying for political decisions they didn't make. All of that is true, and all of this, trust me, is uber frustrating, and you're not wrong to be mad about it. But this is still your home. There's still opportunity here, and the people who keep their head while everyone else loses their shit are the ones who are going to win in the next 18 months. Whether that means staying smart, buying smart even, selling smart at the right time, or even making that leave in a smart way. All right, if you are relocating in or out of Western Washington from California, from a higher tax state, or you're a Washingtonian deciding what to do next, reach out to me. I am here to help. I've got numerous clients doing both directions. I'd love to be able to give you my advice and what I'm seeing in the market, what the taxes are actually going to be doing or meaning to you when you make that decision, and maybe some of the neighborhoods that I kind of see opportunity coming up in. If you've made it this far with me, you're the exact kind of person who thinks instead of panic. So subscribe. I'm going to keep telling you what actually is happening, what's going on with the taxes, what's going on in the market here, while everyone else still is freaking out, selling, or spinning out in doom and gloom. I'll see you on the next one. I'll keep you updated, and trust me, I'm right there with you. The frustration's real, but we got it. See you soon.